Xuhai Village is a fishing village tucked away on the outskirts of Pingtung County. The closest convenience store is a 40-minute drive away, and the region is served by only one public bus that comes by 3 times a day. Fortunately for the villagers, there's 82-year-old Lin Chun-pu. He runs a chauffeur service that's more convenient than a bus and more affordable than a taxi. And he takes villagers on everything from shopping trips to doctor's visits. After doing this for 20 years, he has accumulated enough mileage to span the globe 10 times over. In undeserved areas like Xuhai Village, citizen chauffeurs like him are often the people's first and last resort. But it doesn't need to be that way. We take a look at what can be done for rural transportation in our Sunday special report.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Lin drives an 8-passenger van, making the rounds to pick up passengers in Xuhai Village. Xuhai is a small fishing village in Pingtung's Mudan Township. You won't find a convenience store here or a doctor's clinic. Its residents travel 30 kilometers away to Checheng Township for shopping, and they go even farther for medical treatment. Lin's job is to give his fellow villagers a ride. He runs errands too. His neighbors entrust him with their shopping and even with withdrawing their cash from a bank. Villagers give him their bank book and password. He has the passwords to the bank accounts of almost the entire village. Their trust in him might be touching, but it comes from a sense of resignation about their situation.
Do the calculations. If they wanted to withdraw the money in person, it's 300 NT for the ride. I can do it for them, and I charge only 100 or 200 NT.
The only public transportation in Xuhai Village is a bus that only stops by 2 to 3 times a day. The bus floor is high, making it more difficult for seniors to get on and off. Most of the villagers are seniors. In the evening, community center volunteer Hung Chang-mei takes bentos and distributes them to old folks in the village who live alone. This is Grandma Chang. She has impaired mobility and spends most of her time in her house. People like her are common in the village.
It's mostly old people here, people in their 60s and 70s.
There are 400 people here, and nearly a third is over 60. The village doesn't have the infrastructure to meet their needs. And since public transport is poor, it was only a matter of time before someone like Lin stepped up with a solution.
People who are in good health can take the bus. It's cheaper. But it gets inconvenient if you have to see a doctor. The bus doesn't stop at a hospital. The bus stops at the bus stop, and then you have to walk yourself over there while carrying all your things.
Lin's service is better than a bus. Not only does he take his passengers door to door, he waits outside the clinic while they see the doctor and then takes them shopping afterward. His fare is 200 to 300 NT round trip. It's cheaper than taxi fare. And unlike a bus driver, he lets passengers off anywhere they please. Sometimes he even house sits and pet sits, in addition to picking up groceries.
I have 3 principles: make money, help others, and exercise.
Lin came to Xuhai Village 30 years ago. Back then, he was a medicinal wine salesman. His work took him up and down the hills, where he got to know the people's needs and decided to start up a transport service. 20 years went by in a flash. Every day, Lin drives his van, plying the freeway between Xuhai, Checheng, and Hengchun. He's now in his 80s. How much longer can he provide his service? Who will provide the service when he stops? Meanwhile, over in Chunri Township, 74-year-old Hsieh Yueh-chiao is ready and waiting at 8 in the morning for a trip to a doctor 10 kilometers away in Fangliao Township.
Hello.
Her ride is a 20-seat minibus, which picks up one senior after another on the way to Fangliao. After stopping at the doctor's office, the bus comes to a supermarket so that passengers can do some shopping. This bus is on a trial run of the township's Demand Responsive Transportation System, or DRTS. Riders make a reservation, and a bus is dispatched on a route that caters to their needs.
可这个服务方式呢，
This service is more flexible than a conventional bus service. The fare has to approach the price point of a public bus.
Before the launch of the DRTS, Hsieh Yueh-chiao had relied on her children for a ride to the doctor, or she spent 600 NT on one-way taxi fare to Fangliao. For the residents of rural areas, the DRTS has helped make life easier. But the service's operator says that running the service is anything but easy.
因为有时候那个司机也很难请，
It can be hard to find drivers because after dropping off passengers in the morning, drivers have to wait at the site. They can't leave to pick up other passengers. And it's not like you can hire drivers by the hour. So during the workday, it is hard to find enough drivers to dispatch.
Another problem is that the DRTS runs at a loss. It currently operates on government funds. Once the public budget runs dry, or when the project's contract expires, the DRTS is at risk of a shutdown. So how can the DRTS service be made more sustainable?
有很多偏乡的老人家，
Since many seniors in rural areas need to see a doctor regularly, perhaps hospitals can chip in with some resources. The government can also chip in. Even the public can shoulder some of the cost. And then we can design a bus route, with bus operators investing in the venture. This is all quite possible.
At noon, Lin returns to the village with his passengers and the groceries he picked up. The transportation woes and elderly population of Xuhai make it representative of rural areas. As society ages, Taiwan's government faces the task of reassessing social welfare needs and creating a strategy to look after the elderly.